Hello guys, I am here today for us to do something fun and different and use some of our stash. I know this is how I feel. I have bought so many of Tim Holtz Wildflowers paper pads, and I'm sure most of you have. And then you get down to these in the back. You know, there's 4 to a page, and they look like this. You know, I'm going to give you an example. They're going to look, you know, kind of like 4 different ones. Each of these are a 6 by 6, and you've got this, and you're like, what do I do with that, right? That's kind of how I look at it too. What do I do with a 6 by 6? Well, there's a whole lot you can do, I'm discovering. So the first thing I want to show you, or what I've come up with 2 things, and we'll only have time to do one today, and then I'll do another one. I'll do another video for the other. So this is what I made this morning. Now, I didn't come up with this all by myself. I searched and searched and found some different things where people have used these. And Pinterest is a good place to do that. So, I put my own little spin on it, you know, but who knows. I just used a die cut to cut out these little tiny leaves. And you need 4 to a project. And I used this Sizzix Thinlits die cut of Tim Holtz. Now, I don't know if you have ever seen this, but I love it. It's one of my favorite. It is very fidgety, okay, because, you know, you layer, but they make it really easy. And this is, the die cut number is 663087. 663087. If you are wanting this, and it's by Sizzix and designed by Tim Holtz. Okay, we got that done. Now, that's where the leaves come from, and I just got some words, you know, I just got like this explore words, you know, I just pulled words from my stash. And then I used Sorry Silk that was tea stained in the background, and then I fussy cut this bird out right here. You're going to use 1 sheet that looks like this bird, okay? I fussy cut him out, but before I did that, I cut out this background, okay? And I'm going to show you that this background, if I can get my cutting machine on the table here, this background, you got to go right up to the end of his beak in order to make it the right size. And I don't know what that is. I didn't pay attention. I just mostly made sure I didn't cut his beak off. Let me move this. Yeah, there we can see it better. That I did not cut his beak off. I just went straight right up to him like, and dared the little bird. Dared him to move and cut that just like that. Okay, so you can see right up to his beak. Now, we're going to fussy cut this little guy and hold on to this, because this is going to be the background. Let me show you mine that I made so you can see. This is going to be the background, okay? And then we're going to cut a piece to be the pocket, okay? All right, so I'm going to set this aside to have it ready, okay? And we're going to fussy cut this. I'm going to set that to the side. Now, I took this particular page, okay, to do the pocket, because it doesn't have a lot going for it. Let's be real, it doesn't have a lot going for it. And I wanted this to be, this postage stuff to be on the pocket. So if you look here, you'll see that this is turned sideways, well, up and down here. I'm going to go right over here, and I'm going to cut on that line that's already there, okay? And that is how I'm going to get my pocket, and then we'll talk more about I hope you guys are able to see. Yeah, you are. We're cutting on that line. Let me get to it. Make sure. I'm sorry if my head gets in the video. Okay, so this is scraps. We can put it away. Now we've got our pocket here. See, it's going to go like this. Just like that. Okay? Now, what I did is I flipped it over. And listen, I don't measure. I don't like to measure. And I drew a line on the back. See right here? Like that. All right. And then I cut that. Okay? And that's how I came up with my pocket. So you just put it on here, line it up. And cut it. Just like that. This is your scrap. And here you go is your pocket. So, let me remember how I had it. Just like that. Just like that. That's all you need for this. Then, if you look really close, you can see that there is a brown piece of paper behind this. And that's where this comes in. Okay, this is just some brown cardstock that was dark. I just found something dark enough. And you're just going to do it big enough, you know, big enough to go around this. Now, again, I ended up laying this down and kind of measuring around it because this is what I did. I laid it down and I just allowed a little extra, okay? About 1/4 inch on the top and 1/4 inch on the bottom. And then I just drew it here and drew it out there. Now that's how I ended up getting it a little bit bigger. Like I told you, I don't like to measure. So I'm going to do this portion first. We're going to line it up with the wire on your cutter where you made the little tick mark. Okay, there you go. This is scraps. Okay, now I also marked it over here, and that's just going to help us get it exactly right. I got to find my little tick mark and just line it up. This is how I do almost everything I do. Honestly, I'm lazy when it comes to measuring. I don't really like it. Okay, so let's make sure I got it correctly. And it just needs to be a little bit bigger. No, I got it way too big. See how much bigger it is? Well, how did I do that? Now, wait a minute. This isn't the part it needs to be. Ha ha. It needs to be measured with this. I was just testing you. No, I was actually testing myself. I did get it a little bit too big all the way around. So I'm going to trim a little bit more off. Keep your fingers crossed. Just a little bit. And if you want to be sure, if you really want to be sure, you can measure the one you've already done. But we're pretending we haven't done one. So, and really, you can make it whatever size you want to make it. I'm just going to take off about smidgen. Let's see. Okay, I am going, because of time, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right spot. I couldn't really see, but we'll see. I have more paper. Okay, so that is perfect, okay? Now, as far as the top and bottom goes, it's close enough. So we're good. All right, so we're going to make this little project. I think it turned out really cute. I was pleased. Okay, now, I'm going to move my trimmer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, and I know it's really hard to see my sewing machine, but I'm going to ink across this portion. We do not sew across the top of the pocket. You could if you want, but I think it's a lot of stitching. So what we're going to do is take our ink, okay, and ink across the top. where the pocket is, okay? Get all the white edge off. And ink, ink, ink. Okay. All right, there's that. Now we're going to take the back portion and we're just going to put it in place and do a straight stitch around it. Now, I'm going to kind of turn you guys and let you see my sewing machine right there. And hopefully I won't forget to get back on screen when necessary. I did back stitch on this pocket at the beginning, but any other time I did not. Now, I'm not worrying about it being straight and really fancy because we're going to rough it up. Anyway, I'm using brown thread. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's warm out here where we are in Oklahoma. My husband's out mowing. That's his new thing. He decided he could mow whenever he retired. What can I say? Okay, so here we go. We've got that portion sewn, okay? Now, I'm going to get the other piece that we sew, which is the dark brown, okay? Now, on this one, you want to sew as close to the edge as you can. Now, that's not as easy as you might think, because you want to keep bumping off, you know, you want to keep falling off. So just start off as close to the edge as you can. You want to be able to see it, and because it's just barely sticking out behind your front part, you have to get on the edge. Like I just went off right there, but that's okay. This is a messy thing. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to worry about it. Just stay as close to the side as you can. Now, I know, just take your time. Don't sew as fast as me if you feel like you're going to not be able to stay close to the side. I'm not worrying about it due to the video. I'm just getting as close as I can if it's not as close as I need. See, like I'm pretty close because I just came off the needle. So I got to get this other side done. So get it back on there. And there we go. Sometimes sloppy works, and this is a situation where, you know, it does. Okay, so I'm gonna push this back out of my way and pull this back down where you guys can see. Let me make sure. Yes. Okay. Now, all right. You just trim all this ratty stuff off. Now, the next thing we're going to do is ink, okay? You're probably thinking, why am I inking that dark brown? Well, you know, it will show, it will matter. Let me trim it here. Oh, I have to tell you guys something. Just came to my head, to my mind just now because it's hurting me. For some reason, my left shoulder has been killing me. Okay, so I do have a torn rotator cuff. That's the reason. But I also had a torn rotator cuff on my right shoulder, and I had surgery, and in less than 3 months it was tore again. So my doctor told me at that time, now we're going to do the pocket. We're going to ink around the pocket. He told me not to, that, you know, my tissue was just real thin. I couldn't he couldn't keep it stitched. And I don't know if you guys have ever had rotator cuff surgery, but it hurts. And it would really cramp my style, and I don't want my channel to, you know, have to be at a slow point again. I mean, I have things to do. I want that sort of thing to leave me alone. Leave me alone. Okay, I'm going to open my bottle of water, excuse me, because I'm super thirsty. And I have one of my lights off, so I just opened it back up. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to this, but first, take your small pair of scissors, open them like this. Don't do this with sharp scissors. Don't cut yourself. Be very careful. And I'm just going to, you know, rough it up a little. And some people don't like this, but I like the look of it. And like I told you a little bit ago, the whole point of this is not perfection, because it's, you know, we're going to rough it up anyway. So we're roughing it up before we put the back on it. Okay, now there we go. Now, I did kind of hit it a little bit if it was too white, with a little bit of ink. But, yeah, see, it helped it a little bit. All right, now, this dusty stuff out of the way. We're going to use Fabri-Tac to glue this down, and then we'll rough up the back. But we don't rough up the back as much because the stitching is so close to the edge, okay? So we're just gonna put Fabri-Tac all the way around the edge and down through the middle. Okay, now we're gonna center this and hope things go as well as we want. Perfect. So just rub it down and make sure it's adhering without any problem. I'm going to put this glue away, out of the way. Okay, and ignore all the paper, the paper shedding. Okay, so I did rough this up a little bit. This does not have a white gut to it or center. On the brown paper, it's brown all the way through. So it doesn't give you as good of effect. But I did just kind of run my scissors along the sides. Okay, this portion here is done. Now, we're going to set it right there for now, because we need to fussy cut this bird out. And because I don't have my fussy cut scissors, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that I can do it with this little pair of tape scissors. I call these my tape scissors because I try to separate my scissors so I don't get tape and stuff on every single one. So this is very simple. It's a very simple project to fussy cut, okay? Just so you know. So it's going to go down, and then we're going to go back here because his leg, you're not going to trim his little feet or anything. You're going to go around the log or the tree branch, and it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to be honest. You just, where you can't see, just do the best you can. I'm not going to do that little branch that goes off because we're going to add our own leaves. And his little feet and everything stays. He's very simple to fussy cut, okay? Just so you know, very easy. Now, probably the hardest part is getting between his open beak. Yeah. although I got lucky and it came right off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is ink our bird. Okay. This is going faster than I expected, which is awesome. We might be able to get the other project done. I don't know if I have it already. We may just have to do it as we go. Okay. Really, I need to do it separate so that I can make sure I can have all my goodies ready. But it's okay if we don't have an hour-long video every time, right? I know a lot of people don't like an hour-long, and a lot of people love the hour-long. That's why I said fast forward was invented. Okay, so there we go. We've got our little guy all fussy cut. Now, so we're going to lay him right here next to us and put our trash to the side. Now we're going to need 4 of these little leaves, okay? 4 of these little leaves. Come on. Okay, I need 1 more. There we go. Now we want to make sure that we're very careful. I inked all of these whenever I cut them out, so we'll go back over them and put a little bit of ink on them after we put them down. They're pretty dark already. Okay, so we have our pocket. We're going to want some cheese cloth, tea stained. This piece looks like a perfect size. I have this big old giant piece, and I got lucky here. I'm just going to make this one work. Let's see. So I'm going to lay this up here so you can see the one I've got already. I kind of just ran it up under his little bottom there and just a little bit above him. So, and I just kind of laid it out. I really didn't. Folded some of this under a little bit to give it more volume. But really, there's not a wrong way to do it. Just like that. That's perfect, right? From here to this corner. And so what I did is I just took some Fabri-Tac. Okay. And I raised this up and just kind of remembered where I had it. Okay. And put it right there. Gonna go back and lay it back down where I had it before. Okay, I don't know if it looks as good as it did. We'll see. Okay, so there we go. That's the trick. You gotta hope you get it back like you had it. That's the hardest thing you'll do today. Okay, so now we're going to put our little bird on there. Now remember when you put your little bird on that we're going to stuff leaves under this branch, so don't go crazy on this end of the branch, and don't put anything out on the end of his tail because it's going to hang off. And that's the only thing that's going to be hanging off is that little bit. So you can put the glue everywhere else and on his beak so it doesn't get bent. Now, my thing is getting it on here like you think it needs, the angle you want it, okay? The angle never looked right to me. I'm just gonna tell you, it never looked right to me. So I don't know if there is a right or wrong angle. So we're gonna do it like that. We're gonna put it right there and get it all on there nice. Now, we are gonna add our leaves. Now I did use my art glitter glue for this portion because of the small tip. It's just much faster. And I really tried not to put any glue on the last leaf because that gives it a little bit more texture. So we're going to start right here, and we're just going to take our little branch edge, and then I let this leaf kind of overlap right there. And just get it as close as you can. Now we're going to do the second one, do the same thing. Okay. I'm going to go like this. This one we're going to kind of angle this way. One that way, one this way. I really don't remember how I did that to make it just perfect, but okay. Now, let's see. Now we're going to come down this way, but you want this branch not to show. So I'm going to go under that middle leaf right here as best I can. And the reason is you know, you want it to look like it's all the way up to the branch of the tree. Okay. All right, now we're going to get the next one. I think I did use 5 instead of 4. I told you 4. I'll get the other one in just a second. Okay, now this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it up underneath as far as I can where it will hide the branch. Okay. There's not a wrong way to do it, really. I decided I wanted to add this one at the last minute. I was just going to add them all down, but then I thought, you know, leaves can go all different directions, right? And that's kind of what I was shooting for here. I just kind of put one up here to give it a little bit more height. That way. There's not a wrong way to do it. Okay, so that is that. Now I'm going to just put ink on the tip, and I'm just going to kind of hit a few of the leaves so they have like a little dark spot on them. This does not have to be done. This is optional. If you feel like you can't get on those little leaves, it's not that big a deal. Just do it before. I did tear a couple leaves apart when I did it prior to putting it on. But you know, that's how you learn, right? That's how we learn. Okay, now we're gonna get a word. Now on this one I put explore. And I think on this one, I have a lot of different names. I have grateful, I have adventure. I think since this one is doing explore, that we should do adventure on this guy. But we do have to really ink it because, you know, the rest of this is really dark. And I mean, I really did ink it too and get it super dark. Because it's kind of a beige to start with. Yeah. So that should work. And I did use the glitter glue to put the name on, or the title. Okay, and I kind of tilted it to the side a little bit. I didn't want it to be over obvious, and just kind of put it on top and just patted it on so it didn't press down. And then the other thing I did was I got 2 of Tim Holtz paper clips. If I'm going to put them on a decorated type thing like this, I prefer to use Tim Holtz because they're so cute. Now, I'm going to run one direction and the other. See how this one's bigger and this one looks smaller? Well, that's because, and this is tedious, but okay, there's the smaller one, and then we're going to do the larger one. And by that I mean you just put it one thing over and one thing under. And with my hands like they are, it's not an easy thing for me. I have to really work at it to get the big one to cooperate. Okay, come on. Come on, come on. All right. There we go. So you can do the small one or the big one first. It doesn't matter. And I'm not changing it because it's hard for me. All right, so all we have left to do is our tag. And here's some scrap. So I figure we'll use the scrap to do the tag. Now, it looks, the width of it looks okay. It is, it's the same. So let's make sure we make it the same height. So let's go like this. And while we've got this on here, we might as well just use our scissors, right? Instead of getting this trimmer out again. Just cut straight across there. And let's go ahead and do this. And this. Now, we're going to need to poke a hole. I'm going to put this one back, but I want you to see how it's, I just kind of inked it really well and stamped a few little birds on there to make it look like it goes with the show. Okay, let me punch the hole here with my hole punch. Now, my favorite, I do like to do, it's hard to see with this hole punch. It is a really finicky one. I hope it's straight. It's not perfect, but it's on there. So I'm going to ink this really heavy because we want it to be as dark. Of course, my ink is not super full. I feel like I just re-inked my ink pad. I think after a while, you have to get a new ink pad. It just wears out. So now I'm going to kind of ink on the top a little bit after I've inked around it because I want it dark. Don't want it light. Now this one, as it turns out, is blue on the back. So probably what we need to do is, I didn't realize it was blue till I flipped it over. We can put some tea stain paper on the back of that. Let me grab it. This was not in my plans, but hey, whatever works, right? There's some bright yellow on the other side. I don't know if you guys do this or not, but I do book pages. I put, I take old book pages and use them for the back of my tags and stuff also. I use tea paper, but I also, so I'm just going to draw around it like this. Or let's do this over here. It'll be faster. We'll just put some glue on the back of it and lay it down and cut around it. Yeah, that's much easier. So I did not stitch around the tag. I felt like we had enough stitching on things. I'll see how this does and decide whether or not I need to stitch it. Sometimes when you add paper to the back, it ends up looking better. Wait a minute. We need to glue on this side. I just about put yellow on the back of that. Crazy, right? So then I'm just going to cut where none of the yellow shows. So see, I think these can be made and used in a book that you might use Tim Holtz with, but also any book, especially if you're not doing a theme. But if you're doing like a bird book or nature book, I think this one would work great, don't you? I hopefully can get my hole to punch in the same spot. Oh, I did. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Okay, so we've got this white on the back, which means it needs to be inked, right? And I'll lighten it, or darken it, I mean, because I don't want it to look white when the front's super dark, right? Just rough it up a little. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put the Fabri-Tac up. I think we're finished with it. Now, also, I like to add, when I make tags, a lot of times I like to add the reinforcers. Because you want to just, you know, especially when you're making a special project, right? I've had these forever. And they're not brown. They're really like a copper, but they look brown. And I do the front and the back when I use them. And so I'm going to kind of ink over them a little bit. Not like they need it really, but who knows, right? So I'm going to cut some string. And put this down like this. Oh, I think I want to put that through the back. I think it's the way I like to do it. That way they're both alike. So I feel like you could do this with any of his images. See, there we go. Cut it down just a little bit. Now I'm going to get my ink over here because I want to ink on here. Let's see. And I'm just going to put a few little stamps on this one because it does have its own little background here. Okay, and then I'm going to do some birdies. Birdies. And I'm using this tag that I grabbed to just get my birds on here. Let's do this bird right here. Oh, isn't he cute? He's so cute. And we'll put this little bird in the top portion. Oh, cute, cute, cute. Let's do one more at the bottom. Yay. Aren't they adorable? Okay, so here we go. So here we go. We've got our tag all done. We've got our birdies done. And look how fast we did it. How awesome is that? 38 minutes. That has to be a first, right? So I'm going to be I'm working on this video, and my husband is getting the camera ready to do the giveaway. So I don't know if it's going to go up first or if this one's going up first. But either way, wish you good luck, okay? And I am going to do the second kind of thing with this. There's, you know, how we're going to do the tags and what I want to do with the tags to make them fun. All right, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd love to have you join my channel and all of us crazies. And so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to come up with some tags like this. I cut some brown, and I cut some different ones. But that's as far as I've gotten. So we'll see what happens, right? All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.